Hi, here's a face and body reading channel. Here I wanted to discuss the murder of Meredith Kercher in Perugia in 2007, and in particular the acquittal of her American flatmate back then, Amanda Knox, and her boyfriend Raffaele Sollecito in 2015. Rudy Gede, another suspect who was convicted, is still in prison. This case has attracted a lot of media interest. Here, for instance, is a short clip of Donald Trump from 2010.
Well, I think I'm good at judging people, and I study people, and I become rich because I understand what people are about. And I watched the Amanda Knox case unfolding in news reports from people like yourself. And after watching it for a little while, I said, this is not a guilty person.
There's still an immense interest in this case, as Amanda recently published a book, Waiting to be Heard, and there was a recent Netflix documentary, and also due to her work as an advocate for the wrongfully convicted and her support for the Innocence Project. Here in two parts, I would like to analyze Amanda's more recent TV interviews and appearances and look for signs of incongruency and deception. So here's a quick example of where Amanda Knox talks about her experience in prison and life afterwards in front of a room of lawyers who work for the wrongfully convicted.
That the courtroom was actually a battleground of storytelling.
Amanda Knox now sharing her story of how two wrongful convictions for the murder of her British roommate Meredith Kercher in Italy have changed her.
As the great Monica Lewinsky says, everyone in my family suffered. And the worst thing of all is that they didn't feel like they could share that with me.
So that's her appearance is quite interesting. So of course, when you talk about something which was very dramatic, you in this moment you would feel some of these emotions from back then. However, it appears to me odd that one is emotional in front of lawyers years after the fact, and there are no real tears as well. However, it's not about a single unusual moment. It would be just a red flag. It's about clusters of these. And the question is how she behaves in other videos. So this is a video from 2014. So that was a little while ago.
That not only does he say this is the knife, not only does he say that you had it because of DNA around the bottom of the blade and the hilt, but that he believes you are the one who actually killed Meredith Kercher.
So that's a big smile, which is very unnatural. So it's a very serious topic. It's about the murder of someone. She also closes her eyes and pauses, so she's blocking out the question and she's gaining control and coming up with an answer.
I believe, I can't speculate what this judge's motivations are, personal motivations or otherwise.
So she's correcting herself. She has an asymmetric expression. She feels contempt about the judge or superiority.
What I can say is that as this case has progressed, the evidence that the prosecution has claimed exists against me has been proven less and less and less. I did not kill my friend.
So she says she didn't kill a friend, but she's shaking her head. So the shaking of her head could be an emphasis of saying she didn't kill her friend, but it could also be interpreted as incongruency, that her statement is incorrect.
I did not wield a knife. I had no reason to. I was, in the month that we were living together, we were becoming friends. A week before the murder occurred, we went out to a classical music concert together. We had
So she has this expression of fear. Her eyes are wide open. Her eyebrows go up. So she's afraid at this moment. So it's unclear. She could be afraid that people don't believe her, or she could be really afraid of being found out. Okay, let's look at it in slow motion.
None of that exists for me. And if I were there, I would have had traces of Meredith's broken body on me. And I would have left traces of myself around.
So here she has problems.
Around Meredith's corpse. And
There's a very small hint of a smile.
And that proves my innocence.
Did you let Rudy Gede into your apartment?
No.
with Rudy Goudet in your apartment that night?
No.
So she has a stare here.
Was there a fight over money with Meredith Kircher witnessed by Rudy Goudet?
No.
She has a stare here. So this is quite common when you try to deceive someone, that it's considered to be a sign of trustworthiness by looking and staring in someone's eye instead of looking down or looking away. This is very suspicious.
I had no reason to.
So this doesn't look very convincing here. She has a sign of fear in her face. This is not a very strong statement. Whatever she's saying, she's not believing. She's trying to find the right words. It doesn't come natural here. She has a high cognitive load here she's processing.
In the month that we were living together, we were becoming friends.
Here again, this is not convincing. She's saying they became friends, but she's slightly shaking her head and she's a sign of fear in her face.
A week before the murder.
So either she looks away to access her memory, or she looks away to construct a story. The fact that there are these pauses and stares, I have a feeling she just comes up with a story at this moment.
We went out to a classical
again,
music
she has fear in her face.
together,
Big swallow. Doesn't go down very well.
we had never fought.
Shoulder shrug. This is not correct because it's known that they fought quite a bit. So this is not a true statement. If she's lying about this part, what else is she lying about?
There is no trace of us. If Rudy Goudet committed this crime.
So she said, there's no traces of us. I guess now she's talking actually about her boyfriend as well. The question was not about her boyfriend.
Which he did. We know that because his DNA is there on Meredith's body, around Meredith's body, his handprints and footprints in her blood. None of that exists for me, and if I were there, I would have had traces of Meredith's broken body on me.
So there was a slight smile here, broken body, a very small smile. She has to think very hard about what to say at this moment. It doesn't come natural.
Broken body on me.
Broken bodies, that's an unusual phrase.
And I would have left traces of myself around.
So here again, there was a small hint of a smile here. So here she can't come up with the right words. There's some huge overload. She's constructing a story at this moment.
Around Meredith's corpse.
Okay, so there are lots of signs of incongruency. She's a very hard time talking about Meredith and her dead body and that night. Okay, let's look at another video from 2013 now with her whole family.
Amanda spent 4 years behind bars before an appeals court set her free and acquitted her. Her memoir, Waiting to be Heard, is out in stores now.
Waiting to be Heard. It's an odd title. Waiting to be Heard doesn't claim she's innocent. So that's not a very convincing title.
This morning she joins us with her mother, Etta, her father, Kurt, and her sister, Deanna.
It's interesting. There seems to be, I also noticed it through the whole of the videos, the three seem to be quite separate from the dad. I was wondering what this is about, and then actually I just looked up on Wikipedia, that they actually divorced here. So that can be seen directly here from the seating arrangement.
It's good to see the three of you again. And Amanda, good to have you here in the studio. I remember when I first met you, which was just a few months after Amanda was arrested, the three of you vowed you would never, ever leave her behind.
Would take care of their kid and do what they needed to do.
What is it like for you, Amanda, to hear that?
Big smile. Let's look at this again.
Care of their kid and do what they needed to do.
She's just stone faced. She's very serious, controlling herself.
What's it like for you, Amanda, to hear that?
Smile, slightly asymmetric.
It
Very big smile. You know, of course, it could be because of her family support.
that's my understanding of how family is, and I think one of the more incredible aspects of my time in prison was understanding that not everyone has that. Other prisoners write letters to each other. It is,
So
and it's incredible how much it makes a difference.
Still about
I mean,
family.
Other prisoners write letters to each other.
So that's an odd thing. I mean, maybe seduce it, but it just seems very constructed, the story. Doesn't come very convincing.
So that they can receive that. And I got visits. Like, the fact that I got visits was an incredible thing.
And to the fact that you knew that they were in town, even when they couldn't see you, on the days when they couldn't visit you, did that make a difference, knowing there was always somebody there?
Absolutely. I mean, I wasn't alone. And that when everything...
Again, it talks about some quite terrible moment in her life, and she has a smile again in her face. Why is she laughing here?
Thing is this storm around you, and you feel like you're just being pinpointed. It's terrible.
Again, it's a smile and a laugh.
Pinpointed. It's terrifying to be alone.
So terrifying, but she doesn't have the terrified expression on her face. It would be fierce, it would be wrinkling of her forehead, the eyebrows would go together. There's no sign of fear at this moment. Now the dad speaks.
You going to be able to do that?
We hope so.
So he is emotional. The
What's
mom
it
is
like
very
for you
emotional.
to see that moment in your family's history? It was so difficult for you.
Yeah, it's emotional. I don't think I've ever seen that. Just
Very
because
serious
I couldn't watch,
face.
I couldn't be there. I was not functioning that night.
It doesn't look real. Like, it doesn't seem like it was real in the moment, because I still don't think of it as being real, like it all happened. It's interesting to see.
I'm glad it's passed.
So Amanda, she had this very serious expression on her face, and watching the other people, the other members of her family. Now she's about to speak.
And I sat down with them. I didn't know what to say. Like, I didn't know what to do. And
Well, I mean, one thing she could have said is, I'm innocent, but it's hard to imagine how one would act in this situation. Very hard to grasp.
it was actually Delaney. Delaney, of all, like, she was a...
It's interesting. She looked at her dad when she talked about Delaney, her littlest sister. Interesting. There's some connection here in terms of the little sister.
My little child, my littlest sister, this child who just told me, looked at me with a straight face, it's going to be okay. And I was like, oh my...
What sets them off for you? What makes that happen?
So it's about panic attacks. So she's smiling again. Panic attacks, he wouldn't smile. It's such an unpleasant experience, I imagine.
I mean, it can be something as simple as a movie that I watched a movie.
So I think some of these arguments here she's bringing, or these examples, are just well prepared.
Recently, in which there was an Italian dialect.
So why would she watch Italian movies after this terrible ordeal in Italy? I just don't get that part.
And one of the words that I heard, affacciati, which means essentially come to the window so I can talk to you. And it was what prisoners would say to each other to come to the bars so that they could talk to each other across the hall.
I don't know, it feels like a constructed story. So there's the issue with the bars and the prison. I mean, I don't know what the prisons there looked like.
If you Google the name Amanda Knox, you get 7.1 million hits. You all know better.
So she looks down and say not the two, the sister and her mom. Very different behavior.
Than anybody, that hundreds of thousands of those are not kind. Some of them viciously unkind.
So here again, sees to nod, and she's completely still. She's completely frozen and preoccupied, controlling herself. I mean, she's now in a quite safe environment. She's acquitted. I would imagine she could be more relaxed, unless she still fears people don't believe her. But I have a feeling she's still controlling herself very hard here.
Doug Preston, who is a supporter of yours, wrote, quote, anti-Amanda bloggers have become a cyber mob, not unlike the witch hunts of medieval Europe.
Frozen face?
How
Yes, this is a sign of regrets, this little mouth shrug here.
do all of you handle the strong emotions people still have about you and your innocence or guilt?
So innocence or guilt, wait, this is interesting.
All of you handle the strong emotions people still have about you and your innocence or guilt.
With the guilt, she nodded. There was innocence and guilt. There was a small nod here. Let's look at it again.
About you and your innocence
No.
or guilt.
Now a little nod. Mouse shrug. It's a sign of regret here. The mouse corners.
Say that they obviously don't know all of the factors in the case and all of the pieces of evidence and the fact that there is a total lack of evidence, and it seems that they just have hatred in their bodies.
But does it bother you? This is
Absolutely.
your beloved daughter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
And it bothers me to think that they know me. That's one thing that baffles my mind, is that people talk about me as if they know. Like they're in the know about who I am, when no one's ever...
So this is suspicious. She's laughing. She's correcting herself. She's self-censoring herself. This is almost like, these kind of things happen when word pops into your mind and you're not allowed to say them because it would be a sign of guilt.
It's so wonderful to see you under so much happier conditions.
Thank you so much.
Amanda, it's nice to finally meet you.
Yeah.
So now she's happy that it's over the interview. She's all of a sudden really smiley. Before she was really frozen. Now she's really smiley and laughing. A lot of fake smiles and laughs. Okay. So also in this video we see again that she's controlling herself. I said Amanda's controlling herself very strongly. So you see some more spontaneous movement or head movement of the mom and the sister, while she's sort of frozen and very seriously looking. And then, there were these small, she tries to control herself, but then these small nods when it was about the guilt. When it was about the innocence, she kept very quiet. And you see the big gap here between the separated parents. I hope you liked it, and there will be another video.